Welcome back to Say No to Lashon Hara, day 70. This entire series is being done as Zechut for the continued health of Chana Bat Semefega. And if you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us at shlomo@wearechazak.com. The Chafetz Chaim discusses the problems of Lashon Hara in the situation of a machloket. Now, obviously, we know that lots of times Lashon Hara causes machloket. But there can be a type of Lashon Hara which actually stops machloket. Well, let's dig in. What happens when there's a fight between two people and we have a desire to stop this machloket from spreading and from getting more and more people involved and to bring it to shalom and to bring it to resolution? Now, when you're trying to figure out how to get involved in a fight that is surrounding you as a rabbi, as a person of influence, the challenge is it's very difficult to know how to see the machloket. Maybe this person is right, maybe that person is right. To every bit that he has that proves that he's right, the other guy in his mind also believes the same about his own side of the case. So what are you supposed to do? Chafetz Chaim says, the first thing is to go through the issue carefully, slowly, according to the laws of the Torah. You might need to actually ask a opinion of a posek, of a halachic ruler, as to where the halakha, with which side the halakha lies. And once you know exactly who is right in the situation and who is just a Baal machloket, who's someone who's stirring up machloket, at that point, when we have the guidance of a Talmid Chacham, and we've gone through it carefully, and we know that one of them is classified as a Baal machloket, they're just trying to stir the pot, then we can actually get involved and speak Lashon Hara about that person. And by saying publicly that this person is spreading machloket, sometimes what that will do is get that Baal machloket to back down from the fight that he's picking. Now the Chafetz Chaim says, if you're not sure after you go through the sides, or the rabbi and the posek is saying it could go either way, then obviously a person should not get involved at all. But once we know that one of them is a definitive, a bona fide Baal machloket, he's someone who's just stirring machloket, then the Torah says we're allowed to publicly state that this person is a seller of machloket. We're allowed to call him out on what he's doing in order to be able to make him stop. Now, this is only where the idea of speaking publicly will get him to stop. What if we feel that this person doesn't care about what the public says and doesn't mind that people are calling him Baal machloket? So in a case where there's no to'elet, no purpose in spreading the word that he's trying to continue a fight, because it's not going to resolve it, in that case, it would be regular Lashon Hara, and you would not have this special allowance of Lashon Hara against a Baal machloket for the cause of stopping a fight. The Chafetz Chaim explains that there's three specific things that a person needs to ensure before they're willing to speak up and speak out against a person who's spreading fighting in the community. One is the information has to be firsthand, can't be coming from somebody else. The second thing is it has to be only in order to be able to resolve the dispute and be constructive, but not if you happen to not like the guy. So if you happen to not like the guy, you cannot use this. Part of the reason is because it's very difficult to know the truth in and of yourself. So if there's a previous fight between the two people, you're no longer actually allowed to be involved. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a further day. However, of course, the third condition is, why speak publicly if you could speak privately? And if you think that speaking privately will get him to stop doing what he's doing, then actually you're not allowed to speak publicly, as we said earlier. However, if you go to speak to him privately, sometimes what will happen is the person will draw you into the machloket in public, thereby actually robbing you of the ability of speaking publicly about him, because you are now seen as the people who don't like him, the people who are against him, the people who are in on the conspiracy. There's a lot of things he could spread and say about you before you even get a chance to call out his machloket generating ways in public. And if you think that that's a realistic situation, then the Chafetz Chaim says you should not attempt to give him tochacha and rebuke him privately, but rather go straight to the public rebuke by saying and declaring him to be a Baal machloket.